The dark interior of the temple was equated with the darkness within the mound out of which the creation occurred. The Egyptians associated sunrise with the apparently spontaneous emergence of the newborn scarab beetle out of the darkness of a dung ball, and so the rising sun was seen to take the form of the scarab god Kepa. Next to the sacred lake in the Karnak temple was placed a large granite scarab symbolizing this emergence. The architecture of the Karnak temple expresses the idea that this is the site of the Primordial Mound. The site was surrounded by a massive wall of mud bricks, the courses of which were laid in wavy lines representing the waters out of which the first mound rose. The sacred lake within the complex also represented the primordial waters. As you move further into the temple, the floor rises towards the god's sanctuary in representation of the primordial mound. The outer regions of the precinct were allowed to flood when the Nile rose, as this too fitted with the general idea. The pillars of the temple represented papyrus, lotus, and palm plants that grew on the mound of creation in the Egyptian myth. Some of the lotus pillars of the Karnak temple have closed bud capitals, while others are open lotuses. This mixture of open and closed thus captures the moment of dawn when the lotuses on the waters are opening. The temple was as if in a state of perpetual dawn, light emerging out of darkness, form out of formlessness. A geodetic scheme is also an emergence of form out of formlessness, of place out of waste, and it likewise will tend to start with a centre, a foundational hill or mound. So why see a connection between Avebury and Thebes? It's not just the common feature of long processional avenues. Both sites are very accurately placed according to a system of latitudes that divide the northern hemisphere into 7 equal bands. Livio Stecchini, a professor of ancient measures, wrote on the topic of the latitudes of oracle centres, noting that ancient geographers divided the space between the equator and the pole into 7 zones. He observed that the Ammon temple in Karnak and the Greek oracle centre of Delphi, respectively, are on the 2/7 and 3/7 latitudes, and very similar marker stones are found from both, known as omphalos stones. Avebury fits very neatly into this scheme. The temple of Amun in Karnak, Thebes, is at 25.714 degrees north, which is exactly 2/7 of the way from equator to pole. You can check this easily with the likes of Google Maps or Google Earth. Avebury fits perfectly into this scheme of latitudes. The henge is on the latitude line that is 4/7 of the way from equator to pole, exactly double the latitude of Thebes, in other words. This again is a matter of very extreme accuracy. 4/7 of 90 is 51.4285 degrees north to 4 decimal places. Bear in mind that the 4th decimal place is a distance of 11 metres on the ground. This exact latitude line goes through the very centre of the Avebury henge. In fact, it's rather too accurate, and we'll come to that in a minute. So we've got the largest of the Egyptian temple complexes at exactly 2/7, the greatest of the Greek oracles and the centre of the Greek world on the mountain that is at 3/7, and now we can also see that we have the largest of the megalithic complexes at exactly 4/7. It's very tempting to explore the possibility that this is more than coincidence. Were the Egyptians able to measure latitude at this early date? To find your latitude, all you have to do is measure the inclination of the pole of the sky. If you're at the North Pole, then you're on the Earth's axis of spin, so the sky spins around a point directly above your head. This means the pole of the sky is at a 90-degree inclination at 90 degrees latitude. As you go south towards the equator, the angle reduces bit by bit to 0 along with your latitude. Egyptian surveyor priests used the pole of the sky, the mooring post as they called it, to orient monuments to true north, as with the Great Pyramid, which was constructed in the same period as Silbury Hill, and so they would have noticed early on that as they moved north and south to work at different sites along the Nile, the inclinations of the pole changed. They must soon have realised that this angle could be used as a measure of how north or south a given location was,